Hello, Jason here. Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate it, right? As I say, God's word is free, and it's for your knowledge and for you to get God's word in your heart. As I am only a servant, okay? And um, anyways, this is going to be talking about the kingdom, okay, and where it is, you know. As you know, like all if you didn't if you were uh, I should say, if you're not within these four generations, right, or if you are in one of these four generations, you either immigrated here to North America, and then you're also born here because of you're either an ancestor or a parent, right? So you immigrated here, right? And what's important for you to realize that you all understand the beginning of the Bible, right? Adam and Eve, right? And what happened to Adam and Eve, right? They were kicked out of Eden through the eastward gate, right? By two cherubims, right? And that's where you see your people in the Middle East, right? There's no disputing that, right? Right? No matter how many um, foreigners are going to say that my people immigrated to this land, it's not true because it's lies. You see this through the entire Bible. Uh, the descendants of Adam, they became liars, and you see this throughout the evidence is there. So if I were to take um, this case to a court of law and present it, what type of people were these people that didn't listen to God? They'd probably be condemned because they're still not lying, or they're still lying even right now. They're in denial about North America and who we are as Native people, and it all goes back to these numbers the Bible has in it. And this is the understanding I want to bring you today. The kingdom, right? And having to restore it, okay? Right back from when the arrival of Christians, right? When they came into when the Christians came here, they brought their armies here, right? And they attempted to destroy the people that was here, right? They're still doing that to this day. They're still trying to destroy, right? And they think that they know the God's words. We don't. And then they're expecting to be raptured out of here. Like, where? Where are you guys going? Because heaven is here, right? Because heaven is actually the spiritual. And that spiritual, none of you understand it because when you guys were kicked out of Eden, right, God's spirit left your people. So just because Paul says you guys get the Holy Spirit and all that, doesn't make it true. Because we're instructed not to follow man. We see this in the time of Enos, right? And the time of Enos, that's the time that man called themselves lords. Okay, so there's a little confusion throughout the text. This is what's so hard to understand and comprehend. Like there's Lord, Lord Yahweh, the boss, and he's all capitalized. We see throughout to the scriptures. Then we also see the little lowercase, right? Some of it it's the Son, some of it's the Messiah, but it's also man disguised in there. Okay, this is why we have to distinguish and rightly divide the scripture to see what's it talking about. Okay, that's why it's important, right? To understand that man took that role and they said we're lords too, right? And you see that throughout the history, and that's the same way at what Paul did with this Holy Spirit, right? Paul claiming it, and he says, "Oh, I give it to you because you believed in Jesus." if you're going to believe that what a man says, well, you guys are still lost. But anyways, I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of God power to remind you. Right, I'm always going to refresh your memory from right as when I began this with this template. Right, and then I'll gradually expand with different templates. Right. So, anyways, we see this Genesis 6:3, 16, 11, and the Lord said, "My spirit shall not strive with man." There you see it with your own eyes. You guys don't got the spirit. It's gone. Allude, you don't have it until the Son gives it to you, okay? And for that, he is also flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. So 120 years. So keep that number in mind. Exodus 34:7, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children's children, until the third and unto the fourth generation. So that began when the arrival of Christianity to the Americas. Okay. All right. So we're in that fourth generation. All right. So we can do the math. We're in 2020. And we subtract 1492. And we get 528 years. We divide that number by 120 years, man years. It gives us two fours, 4.4. So you see the 1/4 generation. I'm going to show you the next four. And you see this in the four generations, the four level of waters here, right? Right. Well, Ezekiel 47, you can read that. This is the four levels of water, right? You see it's four. So this is where we get the 4.4. We're in the fourth level of water right now. Now we're into the gathering, okay? And the gathering is represented by these waters, okay? At first, there's going to be a few that's going to come, right? Follow me, right? And it's going to be about what it's at the ankles or just trickling, right? And then ankles, then the knees, and then the loins, and then over the head. Okay, over the head is represented by it's completed. Okay, now we go and do our thing, right? So see, whatever happens, let's say, this is whatever happens in the spiritual manifests in the physical. Okay, so that's why you see the flooding throughout the Bible, right? Sometimes if you see the flooding, you watch the news and you see YouTube. Sometimes you see the recordings. Sometimes it's up to the ankles and they're walking right through it, and then you see about at the knees. Just keep your eye out. See if it's higher, because right now I know it's at the knees. Okay, so I haven't seen. Well, I'm sure I haven't seen the flooding go higher yet. Maybe it has. I'm not sure. But you see how what I mean? It's already began. That's why Jesus was referring to in the time of Noah, right? Because of the floods. So, anyways, um, that's just what that means, right? So everybody likes to refer to this verse. Everyone's experts. They goes, but on that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angel of heaven, but my Father only. Yeah, we know that verse, right? So who's the Father in this context? Look at the capital F. That's talking about, Yahweh, right? God. So basically, I'll continue. I was just thinking about my blueberries here. Yeah, that's what I'm eating right now. Sorry, I was just thinking about blueberries. See, it's my snack, right? I don't know about you, but I love blueberries, right? And it's a I've always I don't know how my aunt when I was growing up, my aunt always considered this as a spiritual snack, right? It heals, like it's like manna, right? and it heals your mind because I think it has the chemicals and everything from everywhere. But anyways, very healthy berries. So these particular ones I got are from Peru, right? I don't like the ones in the States. It's like they have no flavor, right? But I like the ones from Peru and BC, and up in the northern when I go picking, right? So just thinking about my blueberries, they're just good and they're just sweet and they're, you know that it makes your eye twitch. So, anyways, continue on to Jeremiah 32:18. Right, you see that that verse there. That showest loving kindness unto thousands and recompense the iniquity of the fathers into the bosoms of their children after them. The great, the mighty God, the Lord of hosts is his name. Okay, so yeah, see that this is his words, right? So when you guys are sitting there thinking that you guys are worshiping Jesus, when Jesus didn't know anything about what was really going on, well, you're kind of denying the Father. You know what I mean? So when you follow this, when Paul tells you to do all these things, this cult, right, this cult of Jesus, even though Jesus didn't want that, right? Well, you're denying the Father, and when you're denying the Father, certain things manifest in the physical, you know. And when you deny the Father, we see these events going on here. We see greed, we take pride, we take selfishness and greed, right? And everyone wants to be rich, and everyone, you see it today. Even the churches, like they're donate now, or you know, they use God's words to make money, right? And you know, the Bible is specific. You know, first like, First Timothy 6:10, I think. Anyways, point is all that ignorance of God, right? Ignoring who this person is, when we're focusing just on Paul's words and turning Jesus into an idol, we're forgetting to take care of the planet, and we become mere materialistic. We buy homes, we buy cars, we buy washers and dryers, the luxuries of life. We make these. So how do we get those things? We get them from digging up the materials from the earth. We cut down trees, right? And we mine things, right? And we explode things, right? And we destroy the creation, okay? As a result, the planet is suffering as right now. The coronavirus is here, okay? And, you know, and it's doing its damage. And there is earthquakes. You know, one just hit from Jamaica, right? So these events are upon us. And I think I may have made a video yesterday. Oh, yeah, I did. I was talking about the asteroid 2022, right? And 22 is a very, 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 very important number. Very important number. Just like 23 is, just like 4 is, right? And 7, right? 5 is another one. So, anyways, these this leads me to what I'm going to talk about today. Oh, okay, computer's acting funny. All right, there we go. So I had to snap it out of it. So, oh, okay. First, I think I'm going to go to Isaiah. Isaiah 65:11. I want you to document this, keep this, because this has to do where the Ten Commandments stone is right here, right? In Los Lunas, New Mexico. This is what this means, right? But ye that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain. See, when you forsake the Lord, you forget these things, okay? And this Lord, this one is talking about, it's the Prince, okay? If it was talking about God and Yahweh, it would have been capitalized in the King James, 1611 King James, right? But this one is particularly talking about the Messiah, the Prince, right? Because the Prince is the one that has to stand on a holy mountain, and gather the people unto him, right? We're going to see this as we continue through the chapters. So he, um, eventually, me, will go to this mountain here. This is where that location is. This is the Rio Grande River, right? This is a hidden mountain, right? This is this is the holy mountain, right? Where the Ten Commandments stone is. Because it's already prophesied this is what's going to happen. This is how the Messiah is what's going to happen in the future, okay? This is why it's speaking about the Lord, right? The Messiah. The Lord Messiah is going to come, right? And he's going to restore the kingdom of Israel. And that's where it is. That's where Mount Zion is, okay? And on top of this hill here is where he rebuilt. And this is where he'll be standing up on this mountain, right? And the people will be looking down here, praising him up above here. That's what it describes about. And we're going to go to this right away. So the tree of life is very important because the trees actually is what's giving Earth its atmosphere. All right, and you take a look here. It's kind of a desert. There's no trees around this area, right? If you look as far as you can, no trees. So that's important. Why I'm saying that because um, trees have a lot to do with how dry and how moisture our atmosphere is. Okay, and I was I was trying to go into more detail about. There was this one lady. She brought up one lady or man. I'm not sure. I don't know who she is. She's just interested in a question that I brought up, and it was the analogy that Jesus, right? He and man and tree, right? It's actually a symbolism, right? Uh, if man continues his wicked ways, right, by cutting the trees, right, destroying the trees, destroying our environment, right, the tree is dead, and that's what that means. It's just a cross, right? It's dead. Okay, so that's what that is. So when man's doing all this wickedness, he's actually putting himself on the cross as well, because the trees need, or man needs trees to live, right? Without the trees, well, man's gonna follow and die. Okay, so that's what that means. It's actually a symbol meaning that's a result of man's actions, right? So it's forewarning something, okay, what was coming in the future, and that's what Jesus was prophesizing about. If we continue our ways, and he was what I say, he was the half, he was like the in between marker, okay, and in between he was like, you know what, I'm the warning. If you guys don't do this, this is what's going to happen. And sure enough, we see that symbol where Jesus actually makes the sacrifice, right? And it actually came true, right? So after that, that symbolized, that marked the cross. It marked the beginning of the end. Okay. We see this, we see the history now. You look at the history of humankind, right? Nothing but wickedness throughout the ages, murdering, killing, and you hear the stories, you see the books, you see the history, you see the events that's transpired, people killing one another, people, shooting airplanes down with people in it, right? And, and it's gone to the point where God is upset. He's like, you know what? Why aren't you reading my book? Why aren't you immersing? Why are you making these lies up about me? Why are you denying me? When I'm just trying to give you a home, a place to rest your head, right? And I can provide you all the apples as long as you take care of my home here. I could provide you all the strawberries. I could provide you all the everything to provide you, right? But man's not listening. So that's why it's written in the beginning that man has gone his own ways, okay? Because they have become gods themselves, right? Lords, because, back to Enos where they called themselves lords. That is, they're not humble no more, right? That's what that means. I'm not saying that you guys are less intelligent and all that. That's just what the Bible is talking about, right? Yahweh sends his son. And when his son, that's the Father's record. Okay, so it's only them two that understand what that book is talking about. So isn't it wise that he should be the one teaching it? Why are all these other teachers out here trying to understand something that they don't? What they're doing is they're just condemning themselves at the cost of our environment. Because remember what I explained to you is that whatever happens in the spiritual, right? We see it in the physical, you know. So you see all these teachers, you see all these false prophets, you see all these liars, confessing all these lies and all that sort of stuff at the result of the planet suffering. And when the planet is suffering, this is where the corporations, Satan takes over. And he puts you guys all in shackles. I got to earn this money so that I pay my bills, so I can pay my rent, I can pay my mortgage, I can do this. That is Babylon, right? That's the beast system that you're in. How you get out of that system is you got to read God's words. Okay, this is where I come in. All right, all right. See, everything that was prophesied about is being fulfilled as we speak. Okay, what I don't understand is like what Jesus said. You're going to see these signs. You're going to see. You say one thing, you see the sky is red, and you think that it's going to be a nice day, right? And then the next day, it's thundering and storming out. You understand what I mean? Human beings are never gonna get it right, right? You guys do make mistakes, and this is where Yahweh is always a forgiving Yahweh. He always, he loves you all. He doesn't want nothing, no harm to come to you guys, right? This is why he sends his son as the suffering servant to prove to you that it's through Yahweh's strength in him. He's able to endure. And that's what it means by you have to overcome. You got to overcome that antichrist spirit that that's in the world right now. And we see that in 1 John 4:3. Even now it is in the world because it became it became Paul. Paul is the antichrist. Okay? So all you have to do is stay away from his words and just focus on Jesus' words. And Jesus' words leads you back to God's words, right? Eventually I'm making it real easy. So you can take these, like, I'm not going to give you the whole chapter. Okay. I want you to read the whole chapter out of these verses that I give you. Does that make sense? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters you got to read. And then you're going to have then God's words is in your heart. See how simple that is? Then you are fulfilling your work and becoming worthy in the eyes of Yahweh. Does that make sense? Because man makes corn pops. Man makes tasty Fruit Loops, but God made the blueberry. All natural, and you can survive on it, right? We didn't know corporation for that, right? God made it. And that in essence, is the kingdom of Yahweh that he provides. So that's what I'm doing. I am restoring my ancestors' home. In my culture, it's called Turtle Island, okay? And the Thunderbird governs it, or Yahweh, right? We see this represented by the Thunderbird symbol, which in the Christian, or not in the Christian, in the biblical word, that is the like a dove that you see when like a dove came into Jesus, right? When the Spirit ascended, right? That is the thunderbird. Okay, because my ancestors, my people, are the original teachers of the Hebrew nation. I know it's shocking, but that's the truth. You see, this information the reason why I understand this information so well is because it's encoded in my people's DNA, as we are from a different DNA structure from the Europeans that traveled here. Okay, so this is encoded in us already. That we're already encoded that we have to protect the planet, right? So when Yahweh starts doing His thing, He starts waking up His children. The Native Americans. So the Native Americans, what they're instructed to do is to sing and dance. Thereby raising up, and that's the same thing that the Hebrews are doing right now in Israel. They have this music group that I like listening to. All they do is sing and dance. That's what you're instructed to do. Wait for the Lord. Not to teach. Wait for the Lord and sing praises unto Him until He arrives, until He shows Himself to you. Because that's your reward, by singing and dancing and praising Him. Seeing Him and knowing who He is. And knowing the power He comes with. Right? That's why you sing and dance. Well, that's why the natives have powwows. Right? Because they are to wait until the Messiah comes. Okay? That's all their instructions are. That's it. This is why the Messianic Jews in Israel, all they do is sing and dance and sing praises to Him. And that's all. See how simple that is? And as you're doing that, you're raising up His Spirit, because He sees that, and that nourishes Him through God's Word to teach you. All right? So it's a both. It's like a balance. So that's how the earth has to be treated, as a balance. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Whatever happens in the spiritual affects the physical, right? This is what we're seeing. The earth is out of balance because the people are out of balance, and they're out of balance because of Satan. And Satan put people out of balance because Paul deceiving everybody, right? And they don't realize that, right? They're blind. And so I'm helping people see. But you guys are actually seeing it yourself, because these things are already manifesting. The fires in Australia, the fires in California. You see the fires all over the place, okay? Because the planet's drying. Remember, I go back to that saying when I was telling you that Jesus' purpose was to show you the truth, the way, and the life? Well, that is why He was trying to tell you. He says, if you guys continue this way, this future is coming. Right? And He had to make the ultimate sacrifice on the cross to show you that if you keep taking the trees from earth, right, we're going to have a big desert here in North America here. You see it yourself. See, that's the desert that's already forming. There used to be lots of trees here, lush valleys. It's happening in South America too. That's why it's out of balance. We have, as the children of Israel, we have to plant these trees, thereby restoring the kingdom of God. And there are trees written in the Bible, because the Bible is like a book of how to do things. There's like 5 or 6 trees mentioned in here for each type of region that we'll be encountering. Like if we go down to these desert regions, well, we plant sand because it's a sandy desert terrain. Well, we plant palm trees. See, we find these trees suited to the environment as we gradually start nourishing the planet. Right? And then once it get to the certain point where we're doing our part, that's when the miracle happens. That's when God kicks in, and that's when you see different growth and everything comes back again. The Bible shows us how to do that. Okay? But if we don't listen to what I'm saying, we're going to experience this fire like we never experienced before. This is why it says in Revelation 20:15, a lake of fire. That's coming. You see it in California with your own eyes. Can you imagine when half the trees are even gone anymore? There's going to be more fires. They're going to be greater increased, right? So our goal is to bring back more water. Yeah, how we bring back more water is we bring back the trees. Okay, as long as we do our part by tending and keeping, God will do His part, thereby bringing back the balance to earth, thereby restoring heaven, right? Because heaven is here right now. Heaven is a spiritual, and once you guys get to recognize who I am, I give you the Spirit. You become a child of God, thereby restoring heaven. See? You know what I mean? Right? Kingdom of Yahweh. Heaven is the spiritual, and earth is the physical. That is simple. So trees, you all know, you all took photosynthesis class, right? And you see, you put a plastic bag on a tree. Well, that's kind of a trick that native people have been using for thousands of years. And if you're out in the wilderness, right, and you have no access to water and you're not by a river, well, you just carry a bag around. Long ago, they used I can't remember, like stomach lines. I can't remember. But anyways, that's how they transport water. So at nights, what they do is they pipe up to a tree, right? At nights. So by the morning, that whatever that would go there, it'd have a little pouch of water in there again for him to go to for the day again. But yeah, that's a nice little trick. You see this trick right being demonstrated right here, right? It's a little simple survival tactic too, but at the same time, you see how do you get water? Trees produce water. Okay, so we take away the trees, it becomes dry. And once it becomes dry, the sun keeps hitting this dry part here, right? Turn on your stove burner. Imagine the sun hitting that as it's getting redder. That's what's happening to the earth. Okay, that's what's happening right here. So when this heats up, right, fires break out. Once it breaks out, well, you know what? The lava underneath starts moving around. What happens after that? It starts cracking, right? And what happens when your skin gets severe dry? It starts cracking. That's what happens with the earth because there's lack of moisture. So that brings me back to that analogy, what Jesus was trying to show you people. That, see, Jesus was a highly intelligent man, but the people that were living during that time were absolutely dumb. Right? No matter, he could have told it to the black and white, they wouldn't have gotten it. That's why he had to speak in parables. Now today, the knowledge has been increased. So I'm sure everybody understands what I'm talking about. So once we bring back the trees, we bring them back the moisture. And once we bring back the moisture, our ozone gets restored. All right? Because the moisture would constantly hit the earth, other than CO2. It would be trees that are the water moisture molecules would hit this and start rebuilding the ozone. Right? And when the ozone is repaired, right, the sun's rays won't damage us as much, and the ground won't be as heated as much, and thereby restoring the balance of Earth's ecosystem. Okay, that brings back the animals, it brings back the wildness, it brings us the medicines back, it brings us the fruits and the fruits that will be produced because of our works. Does that make sense? See how simple that is? That is essence, is God's words in the book. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's an instruction book for the Messiah to instruct you how we can restore the kingdom of God. You see that? So I'm going to go into some scriptures now, okay, so you can understand. See, I understood this since I was a boy, but these events in my life had to take place for me to make sense to them. So that's why I said it's on God's time, His book, right? His plan. So, and this plan is being fulfilled right now. So Deuteronomy 30, verse 4. If any thine be driven out unto the utmost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. All right. So according to everybody and everyone's um, la and Bible studies, they think heaven is in some magical place. No, the God's word is specifically saying that heaven's right here. That He's going to gather the people from the utmost parts of heaven. Okay, meaning everything. You see this area here, this barrier here. Hey, the sky right here, this area here. That's all. This is all heaven. Okay, that we're in it right now. Right. So go to so anyways, this is how the King James 1611 King James works. You see the corresponding verses for each verse. So if you see Deuteronomy 3:4, it also ties in with Nehemiah 1:9, so you can understand that God's truth is pure, right? Because it all makes sense throughout the scriptures, because it's right here, then over here and over here, right? It's always the same. Nehemiah 1:9, but if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the utmost part of heaven, yet I will gather them from thence, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there, which is in this location right here, right? New Mexico, Los Lunas, New Mexico area. It's in this area, and you notice how the desert is radiating it from that direction. You notice that. So basically, that's and you look out here, it's all green and all lush over here, but here getting it's expanding that way, and the water's drying that area because the sun's drying it up. If there was trees in this area restored, the rivers would return. This is not what God says. That's the promise. As we follow and we listen to what God's saying, He'll restore the rivers. Right? He'll do his part as we do our part. Right? And the first part that you have to do is start trusting in His Son that He sent. Okay? And eventually, once once I'm done gathering the team, well, that team will eventually find people that will be qualified, like landscapers, people that know how to build rammed earth housings, some housing that knows how to put energy back into a generator in a system, right? Geothermal energy, everything that's renewable energies, right? That actually we give back, okay? And garden systems where we can produce all the fruits that we need to survive on, right? So this is how we feed ourselves. Now, do you understand that we don't need a corporation to live in anymore? We don't need to live in this system no more. We don't need to live that. We can learn to work together and try and we're all educated enough. We all have our professions. I'm a carpenter, right, by trade. And we can start healing this planet. So I'm going to show you this Isaiah 2, verse 2, 22. And it shall come to pass and this is where you guys' itchy ears were just like, because you guys are like last days. And it shall come to pass in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow unto it. In this area here, Mount Zion, where the Ten Commandments is, that's what that's talking about, right? Micah 4:1, and but in the last days it should come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord of the mountains, it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow unto it. See, those two are together, Isaiah and Micah, the same verse. So That's what I said. That's what I'm showing you where the way. Now once this information gets out, people will know where that is, because I'm going to include a link on it again on my video. I always do. You can go there down there and see it yourself. And I hope I want to go. I want to see, and I want to show the world that I'm going to cure myself. Right? That's what God promised to me. He's going to cure my kidney failure. Right? Isaiah 22:25. So Joel 2:25, and the verse before that, or down the road, that he says that in the last days, people have dreams and visions, right? And God's spirit will pour out, right? Well, this is what I'm doing. And then you'll see visions and visions after that, right? That's how you get the visions. You see everybody online. There's some magical dude imagining some guy. Oh, this guy's making me see visions, and we're seeing the dreams. We're seeing this. That's not what it means. I'm sorry to say. It's a lot. He's a living God, right? He appears as the Son. And when he shows you these wonderful things, that's when you will see the visions. Like I'm showing you. You see that? You haven't seen anything how I've showed you today. How basic it's actually the Bible's is. And what we need to do to restore it. And that ties in with the end of Revelations. Have you ever noticed, like I said in my last video, um, Revelations ends in chapter 22 and with the 21st verse. So I was thinking about that. And then I realized when I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was happened to read 2012, right? It was when it just popped into my head that Revelation and the book of Revelations is the year beginning when Christ was born. Okay? And that started the Roman calendar. So we're in 2020. So compare that 2020 to the book of Revelations. Okay? That's the time we're in. So now that goes to that story about that asteroid. That asteroid uh, nearing Earth or going to hit Earth May 6th. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm including the link on there too. That I just all I did was type in Google events that's happening in 2022. That asteroid came up. So, anyways, that asteroid, interesting enough, it comes by 2022, exactly the last chapter of Revelations. Okay, now get this. From the beginning of January to May 5th is exactly 21 days. Or, 21 weeks. You can add them yourself, right? You can find that out. It's just going to come out the same. Isn't that remarkable how that asteroid, the end of Revelations, and 21 weeks, right, is exactly down to the date. Now I kind of understand who the Father knows the day and hour. I just told you now. So I'm not going to try and scare you and say, the end of the world and that's it. No, no, no. What that actually means is that's when the new kingdom gets established. What happens is that asteroid, people are going to see this great thing, right? It's like a big fireball, and people will see it. It's like it'll be like a great wonder in the sky, right? And they'll see it, and then they'll realize who I am. Then they'll fall down, Then they'll collapse and failing in shape, and that's what they prophesy, that there's going to be a great mourning around the world, right? Because I called it, and I recorded it, right? And I'm making the prophecy, and that prophecy is so accurate to the date, to the T that I'm speaking. People have no questions but not to believe, right? Right? He says, "Do you understand? Are you with me? I'm not talking. I'm not. I'm just a servant, right? All that information is in this book. I would just happen to be the one, the lucky one, that God chose when I was 7 years old. July 7th was the exact date is when God chose me. Okay, He didn't speak to me into that. I had a strange feeling to go down by Aulick River, right? And I fell asleep down some willow trees. That's it. I don't exactly remember what happened. I don't know what happened because I was just a boy. But I had a strange feeling to go see these churches. So that started that. Then when I was 8 years old, I got my first King James Bible, picture Bible. And that's when I found that verse, Revelation 20:15. So throughout my whole life, I knew who I was. But growing up, how do you go telling this to someone that you're God's son, right? How do you tell someone when the whole world has been deceived? So, anyways, aside that prophecy and the end of Revelations, right, and all this, and how I just put it all together, I know whole the Bible, and basically, I'm trying to protect my home, and I'm sure God wants those that listen to my words want the same thing. They want a future for their families. They want a home. They know that they want to be protected. They want to have their faith in God, and they want God's words in their hearts. And those type of people want to teach the children generation down the road. Those are God's people that He's trying to raise up right now. Okay, and eventually these sicknesses are going to kill out the wicked, and the people that are left behind that are here now inherit the kingdom of God because they overcame the wickedness that's going around in the world right now of Christianity and Judaism. Okay, the religions are the bondages. They're the shackles. If once you're in it, you're in chains, right? The only one that releases you from those chains is a blood sacrifice that atones for all iniquities. That's what I'm doing right now. So it's been paid. That's why these events are taking place right now around the world. Because now God has got to do His thing. He's got to clean it up, get rid of these people. So eventually, you know how the story goes. The Messiah reigns for 1,000 years, right? So, and He reigns for 1,000 years as it keeps rebuilding and gets stronger, right? So that is a noble cause. I hope that makes sense because it's so simple. So, anyways, I'm just gonna cut it short there. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Um, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. I didn't come to take away the law of the prophets. I came to fulfill. All right. Love you all, and God bless.